We need to talk about Sea of Thieves. Again. With the dust settled on Season 13's community weekend, it's time to look at some numbers, look at what's being said online, and have an honest conversation about where the game is sailing. Now, to kick this video off, the following is based on what I've personally seen and backed up with sources where possible. Please take everything with a grain of salt, as it's mostly anecdotal. I also need to stress the point that I approach this as someone who loves this game, but understands that there are some deep flaws that can't be ignored. Rest assured, I want this game to succeed. Since my last video where I helped shine a light on the cheating problem plaguing Sea of Thieves, there's been some updates. Some good, some bad. A newly revised report system has been introduced into the menu, a step in the right direction. That said, it looks like you still need to supply additional supporting evidence, which can be a pain if you're not recording your gameplay every session. I've also noticed that the Xbox game bar function for recording the previous 30 seconds hasn't worked since Easy Anti-Cheat was implemented. Maybe that's a me thing, I haven't been up to fix it either way. The fishing rod was completely busted, and whilst I didn't get to experience it personally, the boundary breaking aesthetics looked really cool. That said, I'm glad to hear it was fixed before community weekend rolled around. The yellow beading wave was addressed and fixed promptly, which is good to hear. However, it does raise alarms for the type of lengths that cheaters are going to go to break into the game. We've been promised our data is safe though, so I'm going to take their word on that. The introduction of reputation locks / requirements to stop cheaters benefiting from Hourglass PvP is apparently on the cards. Designed to, in their words, add friction for cheat developers by placing barriers on cheaters to stop them impacting your play experience. My only major concern with this is Hourglass happens in adventure mode on high seas. This is an arena that's not a separate server. So while they don't get any reputation benefits from the Hourglass fights themselves, they can still hinder those PvP matches, which I think was one of the main things happening anyway. We've also already seen cheaters teleporting trident orbs to player locations to stop their progress in the game. So while cannon teleporting has been curbed for now, they are using other methods to hinder the experience for players. I did see two ideas floated recently though, one being a kill cam style idea from Refined Zero in his recent video.
What about the idea of a kill cam being put into the game? Now, I'm sure there is a way to do it. How hard it is to do, I don't know. However, I thought to myself, there's already a report a player function in the game. Now, if you're playing the game and you die and you think something's a little bit sussy, you'll see the kill cam. Maybe it's 10 seconds leading right up to the point you died. And when you view this, if it clearly looks like somebody's hacking, you can just report this video clip, which will go to a human at Rare, and they will judge that.
Or as Toxie Sinclair proposed, making new accounts do some time on safer seas before coming to high seas.
I would take it further. I would say new accounts need to get like 10 levels in safer seas, or even 5 levels in safer seas. I would take it further and say you have to do safer seas, at least 5 voyages in safer seas. Just something stupid that is like time consuming. Maybe it only takes an hour to do, but that's enough for a cheater to be fed up of doing it, right?
I personally think these are steps in the right direction that certainly stop them from being able to get back into the game as quickly as they are. And if you think it's a horrible idea, I'd ask why? If you're a legit player, at worst, you're going to have to only do this once. If you've already playing the game as intended, you've definitely got nothing to worry about. If the game developers are constantly in battle to stay one step ahead, then making the path cheaters will need to take to get into the actual game unbearable if they're doing it consistently gets a thumbs up from me. I really do think the ideas mentioned before of making them locked to safer seas or mandatory maiden voyage would certainly curb that. And sadly, on the topic of VA and SA, a lot of people in the comments section on my last video said, just mute them. That's a real band-aid fix to a deeply rooted societal problem, and we need to hold men accountable when they do this. And yes, I'm throwing men solely under the bus on this because I've never encountered a female cheater in this game, and it's always men who are opening their mouths to say something horrible to women, streamers, and members of the LGBT community. I'm not trying to white knight anything here, I'm just really saying that as it is. And one last note, Rare, if you're listening, you should reach out to the lawyers over at Bungie and ask for some assistance in potentially taking those behind the development of these cheat clients to court. Just saying, it might be worth it. Now, reflecting on Season 13's community weekend as it was only a few days ago, I honestly felt a little bit let down by it. Explosive Keg expeditions were a fantastic bit of fun, and I honestly hope they stick around or at least come back in some way, shape or form. We had issues where servers didn't pay out our gilded gold hoarder voyages upon selling, which wasted many hours, but we also helmed the Burning Blade twice, completed 2 8 streaks, and only encountered 1 aggressive brig the entire time. Every other player we encountered during this weekend was either fresh face to the game or returning players. Regardless, in these situations, we took the time to teach them some new tricks, show them that there's a positive community here to help, but even after all of that, the seas felt incredibly empty and alone. Now this next part really hurts to say, and it will probably stop me from ever becoming a Sea of Thieves partner, so please consider hitting the like button or dropping a comment, you'll understand in a second. Utilising StreamDB, the number of players engaging in Sea of Thieves appears to be entering a lull, the second lowest concurrent player count since the original lull in the game post-launch in 2018. By Sea of Thieves' own numbers showcased on Discord, there was a more than 50% decrease in cannonballs fired, over 50% less pirates shot out of cannons, 50% less bananas eaten, and over 100 billion less gold earned. There's also been the report of over 51% of the PlayStation 5 player base abandoning ship. Now I can't speak to how many are playing on the Xbox platforms, I couldn't find that data, but I would imagine it's somewhere close to that still. I see all this data and that scares me honestly. I ponder, where is the community going? There are many names listed on the partner page that aren't streaming or producing content. Many smaller content creators in the OCE space on Twitch and YouTube have been targeted relentlessly, as I mentioned earlier and as shown in my previous video. All of this certainly made me reconsider if I want to continue moving into the space of being a Sea of Thieves partner. Because I recently signed up for the creator crew on Sea of Thieves, and at the time, I wanted to make gaming content similar to the creators that I enjoy, all of whom inspired me with their gameplay and editing styles. I'm talking Hitbo, Exodus Ablaze, Wellen, Mason. Am I the best player? No. I consider myself above average, but Sea of Thieves reignited my passion for storytelling and editing. And being that my full-time job is literally being a content creator for other businesses in my own town, I genuinely want this to become something I invest my time into in the future. As Captain Falcor mentioned in a previous video, there was once upon a time developer updates to issue clear communications about the state of the game to the player base. And I'd be happy to raise that and ask, where's the podcast gone? These were great sources of insight as to what was happening and have been left dormant since April of 2023, nearly a year and a half ago. I don't think we're entitled to know every single thing that's happening, but the community needs reassuring that things are going to get better. Everything I say in this video comes from a place of love. I send absolutely no ill will towards the developers. Honestly, if I could help them behind the scenes, I would. I'd be one of the first to put my hands up. So to Rare, I ask, where do we, as a community, go from here? Personally, if you've watched this far, 1, thank you, and 2, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I personally spent a lot of time communicating with people after the last video I put up, and certainly want to keep that discourse going. Please consider liking and commenting on this video to help boost it and get more people involved. I made no secret earlier about wanting to become a YouTube partner to create more Sea of Thieves content in the future, so if you're able to, I'd love for you to follow as well. For now though, I look forward to seeing what the community has to say, so in parting, I'm Wizzy Cruz and I'll see you on the seas.